Live.
Thank you. Hello and welcome to the YBMB show, the live show number 99. I can't believe it when we started talking about doing some free hints and tips that we've actually got to 99. So most of these last sort of 20 to 30 minutes, sometimes longer. And so nearly 50 hours worth I've been talking to you. So I hope some of it's been useful. It seems like it because we get a lot of comments. I normally talk about business on a Friday. Today's Friday. I think today's Friday. We talk about body on a Monday, don't we? We talk about mindset on a Wednesday, and Friday we talk about business. And since we were on number 99, I thought I would talk to you about the real secret of business, because I've told you loads and loads of different things over the last 99 episodes, or 33 episodes on business. So I thought I'd tell you the real secret today. I started off with a little preamble actually on my Instagram story, which you may have seen, or if not, have a little look back after, where I've just been walking through Wellington Arch, which I don't know if you know London that well, but if you do, it's a Hyde Park corner. There's an arch there. And it just sort of struck me that, you know, everything that's real is first a thought. We've often, you know, I've talked about this before. Every single thing that's real is first a thought. You know, there's a couple of things that I've pulled off this week which were first a thought, and I see that with all my friends and colleagues and you guys. You know, you think about something and then basically it sort of happens, but it all starts with a thought, doesn't it? And walking through Wellington Arch just now made me think, wow, you know, you can just walk through that and not really give it too much thought, but when you look up at it, it's so impressive. And obviously that was just a thought as well, and yet here it is in all its glory. So it made me you know, prompted me to sort of look it up really and see what the history was there. And when I did, I saw that throughout the 1800s, there was a huge furore about that. You know, the government and the monarchy and everybody who had a say were arguing about what should go on top of that particular archway. And there was originally, it wasn't that huge cast of, you know, a chariot with 4 horses, which represents success. It was just a big statue of Wellington, you know, and him astride his horse. And then there was a big fuss about that as well. And the person that wanted what's there now to be on there really sort of worked for years to have this particular sculpture up there, and really had to pick his moment, be very strategic, but was very steadfast, and you know, in the end got his way, as we see if we walk through it. And if you look at my story, you'll see the beauty of that sculpture. And in fact, the thing that was up there originally, Wellington on his horse, was just moved a little bit further away. So the guy that wanted the original sculpture got his way in the end. I won't tell you all the details about how now, but suffice to say, he worked very, very hard, kept trying, and managed to achieve it. And so that brings me on to what the real secret of success is. And if I illustrate in business in particular, I mean, and I thought that I'd give you some other examples of it before I sort of conclude on what I think it really is. If we look at some examples of businesses, first of all, that we're all familiar with, we look at Airbnb, valued at billions now. And some of you may have heard the story about how that started, but it was a couple of guys who basically couldn't pay the rent on their flat. And their flat was in the middle of a centre where a big exhibition was being held. And they just had this idea all of a sudden, because the hotels were all sold out. One of them read it in the newspaper, that why didn't they just blow up their airbed and do a bed and breakfast for some people? And they ended up renting it out to about 6 people over the period of that exhibition weekend. And they made the money and it paid their rent. And then, you know, if you have heard that story, you probably, that's what you know about it, same as me. And then, you know, fast forward and it's a multi-billion valued company. But what we don't tend to hear is that for months and years after that first weekend, they kept trying with it. And, you know, they couldn't do enough rebookings to cover their costs. So they had to do all sorts of other things like selling cereal, goodness knows what else, to keep that business going. But they had to keep on going and trying different strategies until finally it worked. There's a similar example if you look at Instagram. You know, the person that first of all designed Instagram, actually, I think his name was Kevin, one of the co-founders. And to start off with, he gave up his job and he was designing another app called something like Bourbon, and it didn't work. And then he went back to Instagram, and he did, numerous versions of that until, it was, first of all, it wasn't just a collection of pictures, it was a collection of other things. Did numerous versions of that, numerous refinements, until years later, it became what we know Instagram, or today, the platform that I'm talking to you on now. Magnificent success, and again, multi-billion turnover and valued company. And then if we look at another one, Pinterest, where the guy there, again, a co-founder called Ben, hated his job, gave up his job in about 2008, and did a whole variety of different things. And one of the things he did was he pulled together this app, which was designed to bring together, things of interest. And he ended up getting 200 users after a lot of effort. And he emailed 7,000 people, apparently, to find out who was interested. And it turned out that it was a particular niche of mums. And so consequently, he then really, really targeted that niche, mums. And we know about Pinterest, again, huge business. There are lots of stories about that, about this type of thing. And they all have in common what I believe is the true secret of success. When I look over my own sort of tiny little examples of business success, they boil down to really just, 2 or 3 things. When I think about it, I had 20 years in the corporate environment, but there were 1 or 2 pivotal meetings which got me the positions that I ended up, having, which made me sort of successful in that corporate environment, reporting at board level, younger, fast-tracked and sort of younger than my peers at the time, to run big departments. Just a couple of pivotal meetings, out of all the meetings that I attended, a couple of pivotal moments in terms of reports, of all the reports I produced. When I think about when I was when I started my first business in recruitment, years and years and years of meetings and calls, and then, the magic moment when a really large company suddenly decided to use our services, and we got a massive contract and then earned millions from it, or turned over millions from it, I should say. Another time where I remember someone saying to me, you do this particular type of business, there's a government contract, you should apply for this. And one Friday afternoon, just before I went home, I spent no more than an hour filling out the bidding form to win that contract, and I won it. And we ended up being the biggest provider of that particular service. And again, it turned over millions on that particular contract. Another time where, I was very frustrated about being a subcontractor for a main contract holder. And I was about to get on the train, I'll always remember it. And I just wrote a very quick email from my phone to the chief exec of the main contract awarder, explaining to them the benefit to them. Didn't think any more about it. About a month later, won the biggest contract we ever won, and that turned over millions as well. So I could probably, on one hand, count the moments where it catapulted the business forward. And I know that, other people experience that as well, other business owners. But what that hides is all the thousands of hours, hundreds of weeks, tens of years, decades of constant grind, constant making calls, constant analysis, constant meetings, constant, just thinking, what's a different way that I can get this done? And so, and that is the same for everybody. I don't know anybody who, just casually starts a business and it's a resounding success. It might look like it. It might look on the outside that some people get business success faster than others, and they do, but never without a huge amount of effort and a lot of grind that goes on in the background. And I've just given you some examples, big and small, of that particular situation. So I suppose that's really what I wanted to conclude on for number 99, before my big 100th episode on Monday. And that is that, you cannot replace grit and determination and resilience. If you think about what I'm doing here with YBMB, Your Body Means Business, it's something I launched in 2018, the summer of 2018. I didn't realize it then, but I certainly was having a premonition about the fact that people firstly would want to live longer and change their careers, and secondly would be more concerned about their health and their immunity and their ability to stay fit. I obviously didn't realize what was going to happen with the pandemic, and a greater awareness than ever of our need to stay fit and healthy and keep our immune system up. But that it's a relatively new business, YBNB, compared to the other businesses, but I know what the amount of impact that it can make. And so you see me doing these lives the whole time, 3 times a week, thinking about the content, having a team in the background to post it, engaging with you guys that watch it, answering your questions. That all costs time and money. I have no idea the degree to which that's going to build YBNB, or whether, how many of you are going to decide that the YBNB program is for you as a result of this. But what I do know is that some of you will, and then some of you, there's a ripple effect. You will tell someone. We're doing this work now for some corporates, and some of the corporates, who knows which one of them is going to start to utilize it for every single member of their staff, and that will be for thousands. So you just never know, and you have to have faith in what you're producing in a business. You have to have faith that it's something of high value that no one else can deliver the way that you can, and that you're going to make a major impact, and it's going to be a huge success in it, in whatever way you decide to measure it. And with that in mind, you then have to try all sorts of different strategies, and you just you keep going, and you don't expect an overnight success of anything. So I really do believe that's the secret. But there is another underlying secret, and this is where YBNB, I think, can really help you with this, is that in order to be resilient, you've got to have 2 things. You've got to obviously have the physical energy to keep doing this sort of stuff. But to have that, you've got to have the mental energy as well, because you've got to be able to keep going. You've got to be convinced that, if this doesn't work, that will work. If I try this and it doesn't work, I'll try that instead. And you've got to be able to be resilient and assured of yourself and confident to be able to continue to try different things until you hit the sweet spot. And that means you need to be mentally strong as well. And so YBNB, that's what it's here for. It's to help you achieve business success first and foremost, but it does it not by just giving you business strategies, although of course, we give you all of those. And on the program, there's extensive content about business strategies, and people have ended up starting businesses, getting new jobs, getting promotions and all sorts. But it does it through the 2 fundamentals as well, which is having that strong body and that energy level that you need to keep going, no matter who you are, how old you are, and what else you've got going on in your life. And secondly, you need to have that very strong, self-assured mental strength and resilience, and it gives you that as well. And I teach you about not just the physical gym, which is where I'm off to at the moment, but also the emotional gym, which is where I was this morning, and where everybody in YBNB is every single morning, because both are really important. And once you attend those every day, regardless of if you're going to the gym, whether you're doing a really heavy workout or just a little workout, or just just doing some a short burst of cardio, whatever it is, if you keep your body strong, if you keep your mind strong, and the 2 are very, very interlinked, as I explained before, then you're going to be able to make a success of anything you put your mind to. And so that's really my message. The big secret of business is not to do with spreadsheets, with financial strategies, with a marketing strategy. It's all of that, but it is so much more. It is about having grit, resilience, and the ability to keep going. And I'll leave you with that today. And I hope you have a lovely day and a lovely weekend. And, you have renewed vigor to do whatever it is that you're trying to do today. So bye-bye.